All right. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for joining the first ever virtual book festival we have. I want to thank the Authors Marketing Guild for having me and my amazing publisher, and with OC Publishing for hopping in and helping me field some questions that have come up since the launch of the book. So again, my name is Rachel Boehm. I'm the author of I Am Not, which is a memoir, and then also the author of Tripping in Public. So I should probably hold up both of those right here. So feel free to shoot an email with any questions, but we just wanted to take a second to introduce I Am Not, which is the latest of the two, and answer some, like I said, some common questions that have come up since the launch of the book a few months ago. So Anne, why don't you kind of kick things off for us and just tell me what you've been hearing from your side.
Sure. It always gives me great pleasure to hold the hard copies of the books of the authors that I work with. And of course, I do also have a copy of Tripping. We did work together sort of in the background for that one, a little more closely with I Am Not. The most common feedback that I get when I talk to people about, how they felt about reading your book is how they admire your courage and how, and again, of course, goes without saying, inspirational you are, and how you overcame and all of that kind of thing. So I guess the question that I would have is, what gave you that courage, and how did you come to a point where you felt able to tell your story in such a public way, public and raw way?
Yeah, thanks. And that's certainly something that folks have asked me too, is like how, like, you really just put it out there. And I should even say, as you know, not everything even made the cut. So, and I was messaging Anne even what was like a month ago going, oh, I just thought of this too.
Sequel.
I've heard from some authors that, writing memoirs or, their particular memoir was a healing process for them. And I think for me, I had to heal first before I could really write it. So I tried to write this. I keep looking down, so maybe I should just hold it. I tried to write this so many times and in different ways, different titles, not like historical fiction, to maybe shield myself from really having to go through and relive and write. And I think those early attempts never came out because I wasn't ready and I hadn't healed. And it would have been about me rather than me putting forward something to serve the reader. And so that's what I really tried to do with this, was serve the reader. I wanted to reach several different audiences. One, the person that, is me, that reads it and goes, yes, nailed it. This was everything that I went through. Maybe not exactly in those ways, but the feeling. And so people knew they weren't alone and that you could come out the other side. I also wanted to reach, younger versions of me, either before they started on the paths of disordered eating and school and workplace bullying and perfectionism and just this sense of I am not enough and all of the, or I need to be rescued, right? Or I'm stupid, I'm fat, all of the things in here that I was told I was or had to be, so that they don't fall on those paths or they can get off of it as soon as possible. Right. And I think another call or another audience I hope to serve is, those people that know those people. They're like, oh, now I get what they're going through. Now I can come from a place of understanding and I can better help and support. Because I think for me, and from folks I know that are going through a number of challenges, anxiety, all of these things, it's hard in that moment to say, here's how you love me, here's how you support me. And that person is hopefully with the best of intentions trying, and seemingly failing. So I just hope that by trying to fully relive my experience and putting it out there in the most raw and honest way I can, helps facilitate conversations and healing for others.
And that's, I mean, that's an absolutely admirable goal to have, an objective in the purpose behind your writing. And I believe that that is the feeling that has come across. What is some of the feedback other than, you know, like I was saying, you know, my goodness, she's so courageous. Have you got other feedback, you know, maybe from people who are in that second category of loved or colleagues or acquaintances that don't quite know how to handle, or not handle, because that's a little bit too you know, controlling kind of thing, like, or you know, to deal with somebody, a loved one who's going through something like that?
Yeah, certainly. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's, you know, one friend was very kind and said, I wish this had been around when my son was younger, because it would have helped me parent him better with his anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, of course, my only regret was, I'm sorry it wasn't there. But that was, but that, you know, I have heard that feedback. And then I think, you know, the dominant audience, the dominant feedback has been, oh my God, me too. And that, you know, again, even with my coaching, I want to be the resource that I struggled so much to find. So I just, again, hope that it continues to reach those people that just go, yeah, me too. Thank you. Even though you know, we might be decades from some of those early instances, we still carry it with us. However healed those scars may be, they're still there. We still remember. So even this far removed from the situation, it's nice to know that, like, wow, I wasn't alone, right? It's that idea of a common humanity, which is part of self-compassion.
Exactly. And you know, the timing is pretty serendipitous. I think at this stage in humanity, there's more awareness and recognition of perhaps people who have not been heard. And you know, it's unveiling itself in so many different ways. And the upside is, and of course, there's been now this deluge of memoir type books and opening up of feelings and being open to how other people's behavior affects us. And now with books like I Am Not and many others that are, you know, burbling up, it's now giving people permission, not necessarily permission, but it's creating an environment where you don't have to be scared to come out and say, yes, I've had these experiences, and no, it's not right. And, you know, and for other people who might be the bullier or the, you know, the person who's perpetrating the wrongs, if you will, to be taken to task, or to, now that the awareness is building, to say, gee, maybe I need to think twice before I, you know, bully this person. Or so
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I think from an employer perspective, I mean, people are paying more attention to the cultures of their workplace, you know, if for no other reason than because it's good for your bottom line. And I mean, it's always nice to know that it's more authentic than that, but or authentic than that, but you know, for no better reason than taking care of your people, because they'll take care of your business. And then, you know, from an individual perspective, you know, I was told, oh, don't talk about, you know, you going through this or that. If employers hear that, they won't hire you. They'll think that you're, you know, X, Y, and Z. And, the C word that we're not supposed to talk about, bonkers and crazy and whatnot. And I remember finally one time I just said, well, then they won't ever be able to hire anyone, because their robots aren't even perfect, right? I mean, we're human beings, and what we go through makes us the person that we are, and that informs how we do our job, and it informs the relationships we have and what we bring to any facet of our lives. And so I think it's a wonderful time that we're, like you said, that we're going through, where there is this push to embrace the whole person, and honor what makes all of the little pieces that make that person whole.
And I think this, at the same time, of course, and over the last several years, the publishing industry has been going through, quite a sea change, and all kinds of opportunities for authors like you and I mean, I was an author before I was a publisher, to explore ways of getting the word out. And, other times, the Authors Guild, and I know that the Authors Guild sort of evolved from that sort of avalanche of, okay, here I want to get my word out, my message out, my book published, but then what do I do, kind of thing. So having that support. So you yourself have explored a couple of different ways, and just talk a little bit about, with Tripping in Public, which was self-published, and then moving to the hybrid of partner publishing. People are pretty familiar with the traditional publishing realm, which is, of course, still very alive and a great option. But talk a little bit about how, as a, an idea for people who are watching, the kinds of processes you went through.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and actually that's a beautiful place to close too, is the idea of how technology is bringing us together and giving people more voices. And that's really what it comes down to, is that, you no longer have to wait for somebody to determine that your voice is worth hearing. And in a way that sort of brings it full circle to with I Am Not, right? Which is like, done waiting for permission. Right? I'm done waiting for permission. If I want to go do something or pursue it, I'm going to try to go do it and pursue it. And then Tripping in Public, we didn't plan this question, but it's just unrolling beautifully of, I'm going to do it and fail forward. And, failing doesn't mean you're a failure.
Right.
And I think that, again, to your point of, we have the Authors Marketing Guild, we have indie publishing, we have self-publishing, we have authors, coaches, and publishers. I mean, there's just a million more ways for creatives to connect and put forward work and find the 5 people even that need to hear it. Because 5-1, if your work changes a life, it was worth it. Exactly. Even if it was just for you, that is a life changed, and so it's worth it. So I think just because we're using the free Zoom, well, we could talk all day, but I'll have to close off or we'll get cut off. But I think just as a final piece, you heard some themes from both books about failing forward, going for it, not waiting for permission, and not letting anyone else tell you who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do. You read I Am Not like a little kid yelling, I am not, or an adult defiantly saying, I am not, because they finally decided what they are. And I hope that both of these deliver that message to you. And Anne, thank you so much for everything and your support and guidance and facilitating today's discussion.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And one of these days, I will have both of these signed by you. I hope to see you in person sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. First visit post-COVID.
Yes, but this is nice because I don't have to put a mask on. I have many.
Exactly.
Well, congratulations and thanks again. And thanks to the Author Marketing Guild for creating this amazing virtual book fair.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for watching. Please join us at our next virtual book festival held every 3 months. Learn more at bookfestival.network. Sponsored by Authors Marketing Guild, Indie Beacon Show, Authors Marketing Event, and the B4R.store.